Right, let me continue in part two. And let me say here at the Club UK, we will be a peaceful movement and will not take part in any rallies, marches, or any disruptive events. Therefore, we will not invite anybody who are members of any outlawed or illegal organisations. We do not want anarchists, and indeed anybody with destructive intentions to the system of this country. We are law-abiding and respect that we will continue to do so. We can, as the people, achieve what we want and desire to achieve by using discussion, debate, and dialogue. We are, as human beings, basically equal, and as far as possible should be treated with the same respect and as many entitlements as anybody else. This and previous governments continue deliberately to disregard these issues and in fact work very hard to ensure the rich get richer and the poor are made to become poorer and indeed suffer greater with every passing day. This must change. Now there are about 66 million plus legal ones citizens in this United Kingdom country. About 60 million plus of us are all very disheartened and disenfranchised with our politics of today, including all parties, particularly those MPs in cabinets or shadow cabinets. They often lower themselves to make very derisory remarks and have a very complacent disregard to the poorer population of the country, as shown in the demeaning way in which they treat us today. Silly remarks like from Mr. Hancock when he openly stated that no one under the age of 25 years of age deserves the minimum wage. Coffey said it was no concern of hers if people in the UK starved to death. Hancock again complained, trying to cover up his complete inept capabilities and fitness for role, stated in the House of Commons regarding the national health and his cock-up again regarding tests. The trouble is that when things are free, too many people want them. A direct indication on how he would like the supply of medical services to go in this country. Yes, the poor should pay. These people are in privileged high office and should be above making such derogatory remarks. All current politics need a complete restructure and new design. The old parties have become archaic and Jurassic, too deeply set in their gravy-trained lifestyles, set in their determination to widen, greater each year and at every opportunity, the gap between the have and the have-nots. Many of today's MPs who are acting above their station sincerely believe that the have-nots should have none. They readily believe we should go back to serfdom and the lower caste should be hunting for seeds in the dirt like some poor unfortunates in the third world countries have to endure. A small point about those third world countries. Today, their poor state of living is organised and controlled to maintain control. Some of those poverty-stricken governments are extremely wealthy, but ensure that the population gets none of it. Deliberate control and fear. I will not go into many of my ideas here, but I will have follow-up videos on various aspects and topics. Suffice to say, everyone agrees that it will require a complete review. Not just one of those usual government reviews taking years and costing millions. No, a proper, concise review of every government sector and department. As we all know, they are one of the greatest wasteful operations in the country. After that, a complete review and possible restructure, including funding, of local authorities. These organisations, en masse, are one of the largest creative accounting practices in the country, second only to the government. Devolved governments will also have to be reviewed. Are they value for money? Or the very fact that elements under control of devolved governments are repeated 4 times in this country, with 4 sets of costs applicable to each department. Whichever happens, the funding via the Barnett formula needs to be reviewed as well, as Wales has received a short straw for years. We have had austerity for too long and too hard. We are all intelligent and recognise that certain things have to happen. However, the abundance of money available all of a sudden, at a drop of a hat, often for what many will come to assess as the edge of corruption practices, and ministers milking our treasury before everything goes up in the air, raises questions. If this money was available, if really required, Why have government vastly reduced the living standards and income via benefits in different forms for years and put numbers of people into poverty? While Ian Duncan Smith, the author of the dreaded Universal Credit, dances in Parliament, waving fists in the air and in glee to celebrate yet another vote by MPs to lower your standards even further, who of course you voted in to represent you. Why have we cut and reduced major requirements such as fire, police, coast guard, customs, ambulance, health, judiciary, prisons and their staff, armed forces and equipment, even local authorities, etc., etc.? I will go on and expand later. With your help and by joining us, we promise to reverse and increase these things, and not by false creative accounting. I mean by more boots and shoes, along with equipment. We can and will be one of the leading countries of the world once again. Yes, of course, many things in the country's structure will continue as required to operate and run the country. However, many of these things will be looked at and tweaked at where required. Things like quangos were grossly reduced, often due to the excessive cost and non-beneficial or efficient workings. That was political manipulation of the truth, once again, as to give people of the inner circle of power, that is, sirs, ladies, dames, etc., jobs and well-paid positions, they have grossly been multiplied again because they're all led by these people. So we will scrap most of them. I have often asked and never received an answer, except for the obvious ones. Why does it take a sir to run a health board or a government department? Of course it does not. Yet again, jobs for the boys. Why does it have a requirement to be educated at Eton, Cambridge, Oxford, Harrow, Winchester to hold a top government office? It does not. And looking back at history, many of those who have actually held those positions have actually failed in government positions, surviving via the old school tie. That will stop and drastically change. There is an abundance of academic, well-educated, experienced, highly skilled people in our country to fill these positions. It is just that they are not in the inner circles. We will change that, and correct skilled people from all walks of life will fill these positions, and the country will probably get better value for money many times over. We will look out and sort out many common issues that are a part of everyday government life. They and our policies will all be reviewed and adjusted to suit our planned direction of travel. A primary thing we will concentrate on for people will be health, housing. Of course, looking at the current COVID issues, there will probably be still major issues of creating employment and businesses. We shall insist and put great efforts into producing more of what we require in the UK. Why import things like steel to build our ships and bridges when we have a large steelworks in this country? Some usage often requires special steel, and surely if the quantity is large enough, then batches can be created to suit those requirements, not imported. All sectors of the country will need to be reviewed, and where needed, supported. Agricultural, fisheries, aviation, manufacturing, construction, along with retail and hospitality. And I think we will close part 2 here, and I will see you shortly in part 3. Thank you very much.